Hello, Tiffany.
What's up, Yolanda, an MBE project?
Here we go. Our next
Yeah.
suit, this tarot journey. Um, I was really not expecting to enjoy the cups as much as I did, I have to say. I ended up
Yeah.
really enjoying that suit.
I enjoyed it also. I was happy to do it because I feel like I understood the cups very well,
Hmm.
being a Scorpio and water and all, in a container.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it also.
Yeah. I guess I didn't expect to because it was what it was. I mean, the suit, I don't know. I don't know why. I thought really, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to do Pentacles. That's the suit that I'm really looking forward to. But I
Oh,
know the suit we're moving into now is your favorite. So
yes, ma'am.
could you give us a little bit about the wands and why you love it so much?
I
What is
just
it?
feel like it's a happy suit.
Yeah.
There's so much potential with the wands, I feel like, because it's
Mhm.
creative energy, it's fire, it's motivation, it's igniting, it's making choices and decisions and putting them into action.
Yes. Well, I do want to say, like anyone who is new to Mind Body Energy Project, if you've not been here before, welcome. We
Hmm.
talk about so many different things related to mind, body, and energy. And these last few weeks, we have been doing a tarot journey very specifically. And we're focusing on the minor arcana cards just to give everyone some support and ourselves, even with going deeper into the
Yeah.
cards for self healing. So, you can go back in the archives and listen to our journey with the cups, which was the element of water related to emotions and intuition. And now, to Tiffany's heart's delight, we are going to explore the suit of wands.
Yeah.
Um,
And just as a reminder for anybody who's new, if tarot cards sound like the work of the devil or some other strange narrative that goes along with things like cards, um, where we utilize them as little mirrors of self-reflection in order to see inside of us and what's going on and what work we need to do. So the pictures, the numbers, the words, what are you laughing at?
I was just thinking of how you always say you're a recovering Catholic, because I'm like, how come
It's
every
true.
time you always are like, listen, just in case you think this is the work of the devil, let me make sure you're okay. And it just dawned on me, like, oh, right, her background.
Yeah. Well, it's not from my background of that. That's like guilt I have to shake off as being a recovered Catholic. But and I think it's in part of having come from I didn't come from a strong religious background, but I went to Catholic school
Mm.
and they sent us to church and we had to watch the Stations of the Cross about how Jesus died. And I was like, I am so sorry I did this to you, Jesus. I didn't know. Poor little kids. Um, so I just have an understanding of how like staunch religious beliefs can be and how much they
Yeah,
stop us from opening our minds to exploring other
totally.
avenues that may be helpful to us.
And the
So
fears that,
fear,
yeah, I
yes.
mean, like those
Yeah.
things are so deeply ingrained in us. And, there was a time where I was nervous about the tarot, and I'm so glad that I ended up studying and getting over that, because I think as we've explored so far, there's so many juicy little bits of wisdom in each card that really help us to understand our paths, our own development, our own challenges, and, you know, the energy of triumph, even. They can be very encouraging. So I'm
Yeah.
so glad we're doing this. So
Yeah.
the fire, or the wands, they are related to the element of fire. And for our MB Insiders, last week we had a live event for those in our Patreon, and we talked about the fire signs in astrology, which I really enjoyed. So I was thinking about this suit as well, and how fire just reminds me of like the energy of spirit or life force. And just, I think with this suit, what will highlight in the back of my mind, or what will be on my mind, I should say, will be that, like, the energy we pour into things, what we put
Hmm.
our energy into, how we're directing our life force energy, or our fire.
Yeah. Where our desires lie
Mm-hmm.
and obstacles that may get in the way of us fully bringing ourselves forth of what we are into the world.
Yeah. That's like, how are you using that inner fire? Like, how do you stoke that inner fire? And then how do
Mhm.
you project that out in the world? What does that look like?
Yeah.
And do we struggle with it? So I guess we should, there. I'm so tongue-tied today. Help me. We should start. We're doing ACE through 4 today. If anyone, again, if you're new, we are using the Rider-Waite-Smith deck if you want to go on this journey with us and see the images that we're using. So Ace of Wands. Look at that beauty. Any feelings around that?
Yes. I'm just going to put it out there from the beginning.
Okay.
It's going to come up because we're doing the entire suit.
Mm-hmm.
But the wand lends itself to being a phallic looking symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And that has a lot to do with the suit of wands and fire being yang energy and being creative.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just going to bite my tongue on that, but no, you make a good point.
I like how you got closer to the microphone and like got a little bit more like dewy with your voice.
Honey. Mm-hmm. Well, see, what I was thinking of with this suit is more of it being like a branch of a tree and just that energy of like growth or movement and how growth requires like, movement. And
To be clear, I read it in a book.
I'm not judging, honey. I think, no, it makes so much sense. Fire is yang, is masculine energy. It makes a lot of sense.
We're just talking about energies. I want to make sure everybody's on board with all the varying dynamics of it.
So anyway, when you see the Ace of Cups, my love, what comes up for you about this card? Yes, I'm sorry, Ace of Wands.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the aces are always beginnings. And the Ace of Wands, I think, is like it's an opportunity for us to really investigate what it is that we want to create in the world. And it's telling us like that hand in the cloud is almost like it's just the essence of the ethers being like, here you go. The world is yours. Like, take it and do with it what you will. And it's almost like a magic wand, like you have the creative power to make whatever you want come true happen.
Yeah. I like this card, I think, because again, with fire, I think of action. So it always reminds me of the energy of like off to a good start, because just like you said, the aces are related to beginnings or new beginnings. So it's like this could be you are off to a great start, or like, you can say yes to whatever it is the inquiry is about. This could be like a big yes for you, or even like moving ahead with confidence, like whatever that new opportunity may be, whatever's coming up. Like if the Ace of Wands shows up, it's like, yeah, man, this is going to be some good energy around whatever you're moving ahead with. And you see a little castle in the background too.
Yes. Yeah. So Yolanda was so generous and gifted me the Chakra Wisdom Tarot deck. So I'm going to be sharing these as well now going forward. This is the Ace of Wands for that deck, and it's the root chakra. So the root chakra, when I think of the wands and creativity, it's almost like the Kundalini energy. So it's the snake that sits at the root, and as it moves up through the chakra system, it's the potential of that energy that's waiting to arise and come into manifestation.
I love it. That's a really pretty card too.
All of them are pretty.
And just for people watching on YouTube, the one that I was holding up, the alternate deck I'm using is the Afro Goddess Tarot.
Yeah. And what I like in both of these, in the Rider-Waite, the castle in the back, and then for her, there's stairs behind her. So in both of them, it's like there's that thing that you want, and the stairs are going up. So it's almost like, and the castle's far away. So it's like the potential is there, and what you want is in your sights. So how are you going to move forward in going towards it?
I love that. How are you going to move forward and going towards that? I'm glad you bring that up, because in the Suit of Cups, we did try to also relate these energies to our own lives. And I'm trying to think of, like what this energy reminds me of. I think, if anything, the Ace of Wands for me, I don't know that it's something I normally feel just do I ever feel like, yes, this is, yeah, I guess there are times where you feel just so excited about something, your heart's all the way in it, and you're like, this is going to be great, whatever it is. Like you're very confident about what it is. But I think more times than not, for me, this is more of a message I may need to hear for encouragement, not necessarily something that I'm just like, yep, this is going to be amazing. Because, you know, you have like your fears and your worries about things, and I don't know. Maybe I
I don't
need to
know anything of
meditate
those
on that
sorts.
card. I know we both need to meditate on this card.
Yeah.
So moving right along, we have the Two of Wands, and with the twos, we oftentimes have a choice at hand. And one of the things that stands out for me right away with this is that he has the world in his hands. I mean, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you want? You have the whole world in your hands. Like everything is going great. You know, whatever it is that is going on in your life, maybe things are going on really well. But again, you have that choice. And one of the wands are kind of behind him. Um, and one he's holding in his hand, like out in front of him. So it's kind of that choice of like, are you going to stay where you're at, where everything looks great and wonderful, or are you going to dare to be bold to move ahead because the world is in your hands? And I mean, like, go big or go home, right? So I think this is an interesting card. It reminds me of one of the cups that we spoke of, like where sometimes we walk away. It's not necessarily because something's wrong, but we just know it's time to move on. This one is like everything may be great, but you know, there's still maybe more opportunity. What are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
What does this one remind you of?
Um, there's still potential in it, because he's holding the world in his hands and he's kind of making the plans of, do I go forward, and what intention am I putting in it?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is the Two of Wands for the chakra tarot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is linked with the sacral chakra. So there's a built-in emotional component to it. Let me see if I get this right. I was reviewing them this morning and really understood it. So we make connections with our emotions towards this thing that we have desire about, whatever it is. And whether we either make the connection to move forward with it or we choose to ignore it, either way, it's a choice. And we could choose to, like, look at the world that's in our hands and not move forward, or we could look at it and decide to move forward. But either way, that decision comes from like our sacral chakra, which is our emotions. And maybe there's something in the past that has rocked us emotionally that makes us not make this decision to go forward. And it's a good time to investigate, like, is that good enough? Is that thing that happened in the past that's no longer present now, is that a good enough reason to not make the decision to move forward? Or is it a good enough reason? Maybe there's more healing to do around it before you jump into something that you're not totally ready for.
Mm. Yeah, I think then another thing with this, it reminds me of like planning our next move. So like if you are in that space of decision, or this could be just that simple, that you're just planning whatever your next move may be. Like maybe you accomplished whatever the goal was and you're like, now what's next? And it makes me think of that, like that build up, that triumph. When we are working towards a goal, we accomplish it and it feels good, and usually only for a moment, because then we do want to tackle the next thing, like, always
Yeah.
chasing. We're always chasing. But I love the Afro goddess depiction of it, because she's sitting on the world, but it reminds that saying that we have the world as your oyster.
Oh yeah.
And
I
so
was
it's
just
the
thinking
world in an oyster shell. So,
I love
but
also how it's on a bed of caviar.
yes, and there's like little specks of like light running around her head. And it reminds me again of that energy of like planning or using her mind, but holding those wands in between. Like, how is she going to direct her energy and what choice will she make?
Yeah.
Have you ever had that where you're like, everything is going great, and then you're just like, but,
When's
you
the
know,
other shoe gonna drop? That one.
no, not the fear side of it, but just more like everything is really going well. Things are good, but I'm ready to go bigger. Like I want to expand. I want to, you know,
I'll
maybe.
keep you updated.
No, you haven't.
I'd have to think on it, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe nothing comes to mind really.
Okay, what comes to mind for me, I could think is podcasting. So, like, I was doing locally um, in-person sessions, and I decided while that was going great and I enjoyed it, I wanted to extend my reach. So, while everything was fine and good, I wanted to go bigger. So I had to figure out a way to do it, and podcasting was what I came up with. But whatever, sometimes it's not, we don't necessarily make choices to make bigger moves because there's a need to, or that because things are not going well. Sometimes it's just like, why not? Like there's more
Yeah,
possibility and potential. You see
right.
what happens. No?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
Hello?
guess I could say that with like moving across the country and then quitting jobs like I have a couple of times when I haven't had anything like where I'm just like, nope, I'm done here. Gotta go.
Yeah.
So
Well, that reminds me, funny that you use that example, because that reminds me more of the next card, the Three of
yeah.
Wands. I love this card too. I think the Two of Cards the Two of Cards, the Two of Wands, and this is why I like looking at the cards in reverse as well, because this one seems like more of you accomplished the goal, like you got it already, but now you have a choice. Do you want to go bigger? Where this one is like potential for new success, new ventures, or like expanding.
Hmm.
Things are great, but look, he's even looking out towards the sea, it looks like.
Yeah.
So it's like new opportunities are on the horizon. This could also be a message of expecting reward for the work that you've already done. And it can also represent travel. But
Yeah.
anyway, it's like this is more of like the expansion. You haven't necessarily gotten the reward yet. Whereas here, you got it.
We got to step back to number two real quick
Hmm.
because I didn't mention the planet, and you know that I like to mention the planets that are associated with the pip cards.
Hmm.
What's that look for?
I was just thinking, it's funny that we're doing wands, the way you're so excited about, and you seem real cuppish today. Funny. Or
What does
real,
that
like,
mean?
real, or like slow moving. Like,
I
honey,
feel
where's
like
your
I'm
life
so.
force? Where's your
I,
fire?
listen, to be fair, I have been in a Reiki training for the
Oh,
past two
that's
days
right.
for
Yes,
8 hours straight,
that's right.
and it's been beautiful this weekend, and I was
Hmm.
indoors all day, so that's where my fire is doused by air. No, wait, sand. I don't know. I'm confused, but let me come back to the planets.
Okay, go, Tiffy.
Mars is associated with the Two of Wands.
Hmm.
I think it's interesting because what came to mind when I was thinking about that was that Mars is the planet of war, right? So like you have these two wands and a decision to make one way or the other. So it's kind of like the battle between ourselves of moving forward with the decision or not, or like what our ego mind is going to do to try to come to that decision when we're trying to make a decision.
Hmm.
So that's that.
No, I'm listening because I don't want to interrupt. Like, I don't know.
No, go ahead. I'm
No,
done. Period.
that's
I put a period on it.
the end. No, that was a good one. I was
Thank
wondering
you.
what you were going to say about the planet of war, but no, that totally makes sense. Those internal battles that we have,
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense. And it's interesting. The first time when we talked about it, you mentioned it being related to the sacral, and there is this body of water like out in front of the card as well. I
Yeah.
don't think we highlighted. So, what is the planet with the Three of Wands? And
So
here's the Afro goddess.
the Three of Wands, I
Honey,
think
she
just to
is
give you my
going on a new
explanation.
adventure.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. So the Three of Wands and the Rider Waite, I like it because it looks like he stepped through the two that were in the two. So he
Hmm.
made his decision, and it's like that third wand is like his walking stick, like it's guiding him. And I also like how it looks like he's looking on the sea and he's kind of watching his ships. Like he made a decision for the ships to move, and now he's watching them off to see them move in the direction that he has given them directives to move in. And then the Three of Wands for the Chakra Tarot is the solar plexus, and the planet or celestial body related to the three is the sun. What? Because it's taking me so long.
No, you're
My
like, you
brain
made a
waves
little
are
head.
moving
Like, it was like you
more.
gave that attitude. The celestial body is.
You guys, I cannot with her today, okay? I cannot with her.
Honey, it's the sun. Okay?
It's the sun.
Yes.
Well, it's not a planet. I was going to say planet, but it's not a planet. It's a celestial body.
Mhm. I hope you guys are watching this on YouTube. If you're not, it's a treat. Just go ahead, press pause, and
I'm
tune into
so
YouTube.
sure. I'm so sure.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. I think I just always think of, if nothing else, new opportunity on the horizon, new adventure, possibility to expand. And so,
Yeah.
like, just to go over really quick, like, we have this, like, go for it energy, new beginning. You're off to a great start. That's beautiful. Then you have the world in the palm of your hands. Are you going to stay there or go bigger? And then with the Three of Cups, we have new opportunity, new ventures. You can even expect some reward. And then we move on to 4.
Well, hold on. We'll go back to 3.
Oh, geez. Here we go. Sorry. Here.
So with the 3, what I like about the chakra tarot also is that it looks like she's kind of like conjuring up this, like the water and the air around her, and there's even like little sparkling lights around her, which would potentially be some sort of spark or fire. So it's almost like she's conjuring up all of this energy in order to put it into that which she desires and what she wants to, feels as though her, like, it's her power source that she's going to bring out into the world.
Yeah. What I like with this one is that she's leaving those wands behind. Honey, she didn't even take them with her. She is just moving ahead. New adventures. Those wands are in the past. Honey, she is moving ahead towards a new door of opportunity. That's interesting too.
With a rhinoceros,
With a
nonetheless.
rhinoceros, yeah, I was thinking I want to look
That's
up
pretty
the,
special.
does any significance, the meaning of a rhino. Okay, so we're going to round it out today with the 4 of Wands. I mean, as if these 4 cards or first 3 didn't feel good enough. Now we're really going to celebrate, right?
Celebrate.
Oh,
Celebrate.
here she goes.
Dance with me,
Honey, I feel like you sang this song at least twice during the cups.
did I?
You
That
did,
same
and I
exact
love it.
one?
I love
Ooh.
it.
I
So
gotta get some new,
no, these cards they're joyous.
material.
I mean, look at this. It's like a joyous occasion. This is
Mm-hmm.
joyful energy. It's like celebrating happy energy around home. Oftentimes, especially for readings, it can be representative of an upcoming like wedding or reunion or something like that. But I mean, look, these 4 wands, this energy of life force. It's interesting that there's 2 on each side. It reminds me of the feminine and the masculine, perfectly harmonized in harmony. This unification of, energy in between, represented by the 2 people. And it just feels good.
Yeah, and the cornucopia on the top between the two poles on each side, the 2 wands. And for the chakra cards, it's the heart. If you haven't noticed, we're moving up the shashuma
Mm-hmm.
with each number. So 4 is the heart chakra. And what I like about this is that it's almost saying, like, this is almost kind of like a stopping off point to have a break and celebrate where you've come from ace to number 4 before moving on to, like, she's worked so hard to get to where she has, and it's time to take that break and rejoice in the work that's been done before moving forward to more transitional things that will come up in the future. So I like the 4 because it's a nice little break. And then there's butterflies in this one, which I think is pretty cool because it's representing, like, they're at her back and it's kind of like they're leading her forward as she's moving towards what it is that she wants. There's a castle in the background, but it's lending itself to transformation. It's like she's gotten this far with everything that she wants to bring into the world. Like, celebrate it with butterflies and then be ready to transform again.
So how does it remind you of anything, a type of event in your own life? Look how sexy this one is.
That's pretty
Honey,
nice.
talk about some
Yeah.
energy of connection and balancing of the feminine and the masculine.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get it.
Happy home energy as well. This
Uh-huh.
card, I think, if anything, especially because it's reminds me of like that, the harmonizing of the feminine and the masculine, and 4 is like 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not even gonna go down that rabbit hole. But I think it reminds me of when everything just feels good in life, like it is like everything's okay at home, everything might be okay at work, like just your energy, like in your being. It reminds me of that saying of like when we say like if you're in your flow, like
Yeah.
be in your flow state, or be like when you're in alignment with yourself, where you're in that alignment with yourself and you feel this like true energy of like just harmony and things. There's so many synchronicities and everything seems to line up. That's what
Hmm.
this card reminds me of.
Yeah, that's nice.
Balance, harmony, joy. Whew, good energy. I like it.
Yeah. What's that you got there?
Hmm? I was
What's
just
that
looking
you
at the 4
Oh, I
cards.
thought they were different ones.
Oh no,
I thought you had the blackest black deck, and I was like, oh, what do those look like?
no, they're over there somewhere. If you could see, there are like 5 different tarot decks on my desk over here right now.
Somebody has a problem, people, and it's not me.
Somebody does. Oh, okay.
Okay, I have problems,
Honey, that's
just not
why
with tarot
we
decks.
work so well together.
It's true.
So, about these 4 cards, I mean,
Hmm.
really, it feels like just beautiful opportunity that is displayed with our own personal alignment, our own personal achievement, like the energy that we've poured into things, how these bring us to these spaces of like where we get to appreciate what we've done or make new choices or go bigger than we've gone yet, or being bold enough to trust the decisions that are there before us, the options that we have. I think these cards are beautiful reminders that, especially when we're in a slump or things aren't feeling that great, or you're in the like the grind part where you're trying to get to the light, like these cards I think are beautiful reminders of that, those parts of our cycles that we always hit, like,
Hmm.
there's always going to be that light, that opportunity, and those spaces that just feel good.
I think what it just like came upon me, what I think I love so much about the wand specifically, is that they really lend themselves to showing us that it's all about our potential, and
Hmm.
that fire that we have inside that is ignited to be motivated.
Right.
And I think that these cards really support that and support us in seeing that in ourselves, and they're good reminders of that.
I think that's such a beautiful, way to say it too, like that word alone, our potential. And I
Hmm.
think sometimes we forget it, we doubt it, we just can't see it for whatever reason.
Right.
But yes, it's like we have the potential to always do so much more than we're doing, or to be in spaces that are feel more free and expansive than what we're
Yeah.
experiencing. And I think a lot of times we just get stuck in the belief, or based on what we see going on around us, that there is no other way, there is no hope, all of
Right.
these things. But then it usually happens when we come to some breaking point where we like hit rock bottom, or something just snaps us, and we figure out that actually there is a way back up because we have no other option.
Yeah.
And then it's like when we like get that reconnection to our fire and our flame, and it starts burning, and we're like, yes, and we, but it doesn't have to be that way. And that's what I love about this work, is we start to recognize that we have choice throughout the process. Like we don't have to hit bottom to recognize that there's an up, or we don't
Hmm.
have to completely fall apart before we recognize that there are other potentials and opportunities available to us.
Hmm. And just to clarify one thing, um, you said, Yolanda, something about like doing more. And I know what you meant, but I want to make sure everybody understands this too. It's not doing more things, but it's doing more of the things that are more you,
Mm-hmm.
and really understanding what your own personal potential is. Just because somebody's doing something, or somebody told you you should be this or do that, doing more of it might not actually ignite that fire. So doing the
No.
self-reflection of understanding what it is that you actually want to be doing, and have that be quality over quantity.
Well, I mean, that's what this work is about. It's
Right.
like, honey, stepping all the way out of what everybody else said you should be, how you have to be, everything, all the expectations and projections from out there, and bringing it in to really see for
Hmm.
yourself, like, who am I and what do I want and what matters to me? Like, honey, this whole journey, that's what it's about, reconnecting to the self and you choosing what to do from there. And I think the tarot gives us, again, like these beautiful mirrors that help to not only help us learn how to navigate some of our challenges, but again, they also offer so much support and remembering like you can do it, you know?
Hmm. And
So,
insight.
yes,
Maybe we didn't know we had potential, and here
right.
we are telling you you do, and you go in and look at that now and be like might discover something that you hadn't before.
Hmm. Yeah. So I think the wands will be fun. I can't wait till we get to the court card of wands. But, it's a couple weeks out. Next
Yeah.
week, we will go through wands 5 through 7.
Hmm.
However, for this particular journey, we would love to hear your interpretations of these 4 cards, what comes up for you. If you're someone going back to the archives to review what we talked about related to the cups, you can share those thoughts with us as well. You can find us on Facebook at MBE Project. We're also on Instagram, and we have a website, mbeproject.com.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. And if you're interested in more, God bless you. Yes, I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad you kept the mute button off. For those of you who are also new, every time she mutes it, I get all like weird and like introverted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, too much information. But if you'd like more information about our weirdness, visit our Patreon page where there's a lot of other stuff on there. All of our podcasts and videos are on there, but then there's some extra content that we share with insiders.
Yeah,
So,
you can access all the archived things as
mhm,
well.
yeah,
I
you can
think
just
there's
check
like
it
a
out and see
ton.
what the offerings are, and if they align with you, cool. If not,
Um,
cool. What?
Before we go, I just want to check this really quickly. I think we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
that should be exciting. It is the 10th. So 1 week from
July
this,
10th.
yes, so 1 week
Oh
from
my
this
goodness.
episode, next week is our 1 year
Wow.
anniversary.
We'll have to have a
So
party.
yes, and that's
We'll have to have
actually,
a celebration.
well, we do. It'll be, yes, we will be in the Four of Wands energy,
Uh-huh.
but this is also the day of our live event. So hopefully you will tune in and join us for MBE Live, where you can actually interact with us for the next discussion.
Hmm.
Again, that's MBE Project on Facebook, and we would love to see you for our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah. Oh, that fell so
Yay!
perfectly.
Uh-huh.
Good job,
Fun
universe.
things.
Uh-huh.
So we will see you all next week. Keep studying your cards, journal your
Hmm.
insights, and anything else, Tiffy?
Nope. See you next time.